I just want to apologize really quick because about a minute into starting the video you're about to watch, I felt like I had to sneeze and I didn't want to stop the video just cuz. And so I sniffle a lot trying to hold back that sneeze. I apologize. I know it's annoying. I will never do it again. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough where I noticed it. But hopefully it won't be too much of a distraction, especially now that I've specifically pointed it out and that you will specifically be looking for it when it happens. But I do want to acknowledge and apologize for it. But when I was done, I did sneeze and I do feel better now. So, anyways, that's it. On to this release. What's up, people? My name is Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and this is part 2 of what I hope will be a never-ending series of ranking and reviewing the Grateful Dead's Dave's Picks. I already did the Dick's Picks, which was 36 releases of live shows, like 3 shows in which you'd get the bits and pieces of 3 to make it feel like one show. An amazing run of 36 releases. Once that concluded, a little while after that concluded, they started the Dave's Picks series back in 2012, so about 10 years ago. There's like 40 of them now, so like 4 a year, I think is the actual release cycle. What I'm doing is I'm going to release them in order. So I've already done number 1. I'm going to do them once a week, and then I'm going to rank them as I review them. So, surprise, number 1 was ranked number 1 after the first week. So the question is, after we do number 2, will number 2 be number 1 or will number 1 hold on to that? So let me tell you, well, look right there. That's when number 2 is from, which if you watch the Dick's Pick series, you probably will guess what will happen to number 2 in the rankings. But again, it is a July 31st, 1974 show. It is the complete show minus the Sea Stones. Sea Stones was Phil Lesh and I always forget this guy's name, Ned Hagel. Nope. Ned something. But there was a guy named Ned that Phil did these sort of electronic music compositions with, and they would do them between the first and second set. Sometimes they would, the Sea Stones would like turn into a full band jam a couple times and then actually go into the second set. Other times it was a standalone piece. Ned Legan, he did it with Ned Legan. So the Sea Stones was cut out of this, though you can find that on one of the other Dick's Picks. I think it's on 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, on 12, which was my number 1 Dick's Picks. So you get the complete show other than that. And this one kind of, in a way, mimics the first release, which was a May 77 show. May 77, ridiculously good era of the Dead. The release was a great show, but of the May era, probably not the best of the best. This is a 74 show, my favorite era, and it's a great show, but within this era, it's probably not the best of the best, but it's still a really solid show, if that makes sense. So the first disc is just the first set. You get a pretty solid, typical 74 Scarlet Begonias, Me and My Uncle, Brown Eyed Women, Beat It On Down the Line, A Mississippi Half Step, Must Have Been the Roses, Mexicali Blues, Row Jimmy, Jackstraw, A China Rider, and Around and Around. Probably the highlight is the China Rider. The China is nice and jammed out as 74 versions tend to be. Some good energy there. The whole show has good energy. I think the flow of the actual set is a little stronger than the 77 set, but the latter half of the 77 set I think is maybe stronger. So maybe after one set, 77 might kind of be in the lead. But again, this is a really solid set. Set 2, or disc 2, you get the entirety of the second set, and then there was a third set in this show. So the second set is a Bertha, a Big River, a really good Eyes of the World. The Eyes of the World is kind of strange, as is kind of typical in this era. As soon as we get into the the final solo section at the end, Phil kind of takes over and drives like a bass jam, and the band kind of follows them into this like bass jam territory, right? And it pulls them down into like this darker, murkier area, And once Phil's over, they keep on jamming. And again, Jerry takes over, but it always seems like they don't reach these heights because this weird funky bass groove is like pulling them down, and then they have to fight out of it, and it pulls them down and they have to fight out of it. And it's interesting, and it's a good listen, and it's easily the highlight so far of the show. Like, that bass heaviness is not a bad thing, but it has a different vibe than other Eyes of the World. And they're obviously somewhat off their game, because at one point it almost seems like they're going to do something else. And Jerry's like, oh, wait, we got to go into that Stronger Than Dirt-esque jam. And so they very not smoothly in any way, shape, or form go into that sort of, 74, 73, 74 era Stronger Than Dirt-esque jam, which is solid. But you can tell the vibe is just a little off. But it makes it for a very compelling, very interesting listen. Then that goes into a China Doll, which is always great. Love the China Dolls. Promised Land, A Ship of Fools, and then the second set closes out with a Weather Report suite, a very solid, excellent, well-performed Weather Report suite. And then the third set starts off. It's the rest of the second set is the beginning of the third set. An El Paso, A Ramble on Rose, and A Greatest Story Ever Told. Very much better second set, maybe not a much better second set, but because of the eyes, because of the Weather Report, I think the second set is stronger than the first set. So the second disc is stronger than the first disc. And I think maybe at this point, Volume 1 and Volume 2 are like maybe neck to neck. They both have good things. I think the first set in 70s, the first one was a little stronger than the first set here, but I think the second set here was stronger than the second disc there. But we get to the third disc, and it was in the third disc of the 77 show, the first release, where it like jumped up to like next levels. This is where it jumps up to next levels. So you get a To Lay Me Down, which is just a phenomenal opener. Then you get an excellent truckin', a well jammed out truckin', a really nice lengthy truckin'. And then you get essentially what is a 30-minute truckin', but they have, after 18 of those minutes, they go into a very solid, very definitive Mind Left Body Jam, but that's indexed as a separate track. So you get like 7.5 minutes of that. And then that shifts gears and goes into a definitive Spanish jam for like 5.5 minutes before that goes into the Wharf Rat. So that truckin', which if you include the Mind Left Body Jam and the Spanish jam is that, which if this was a tape, I would call it truckin' with, and it would be a 30-minute truckin'. It's just epic. It is just phenomenal. It is why you listen to the Dead. It is one of those things you need to seek out and listen. And it definitely lifts this show to the next level. Then you get a Wharf Rat, a U.S. Blues, a One More Saturday Night. And then the encore is kind of a play it by numbers Uncle John's Band, but kind of a nice song to hear for an encore. So at this point, this one, Volume 2, is a little bit better than Volume 1, mainly on the back of that truckin', on the strength of that truckin'. But there's a bonus disc for this one. Yeah, the 2 days before, you get material from a show that was 2 days before. You get a Sugaree from the first set, from the second, I think it was the second song of the night. And it's a phenomenal Sugaree, but not because of the guitar playing. Whereas in 77, we get these epic 15, 16-minute Sugarees where Jerry is really just pushing the envelope with his guitar solos. Absolutely amazing. This one is a vocal delivery, just Jerry is in this. He is like committed to this. Sugaree is one of those songs when if you listen to the lyrics, it's like the song is about someone who's like, hey, it's a man whose woman or girlfriend or somebody he knows has been arrested and is in jail. And he's like, yeah, man, do what you got to do. Like, you shake it, lie, flirt, like whatever you have to do, get out of jail, man. If you have to escape, I will meet you somewhere on the run and help you out. But whatever you do, just don't say my name. Just don't turn me over. Just like maybe you can get free if you turn me over, but don't do that. Just do anything else. And a lot of times when I hear this song, I'm like, I'm with the protagonist. I'm with the lead singer. I'm like, yeah, man, don't rat on this guy. Like, I know nothing about this guy. Like, I don't know what the crime is, but I'm like on his side. This is one of those versions when Jerry is singing it so hard that it almost comes across like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe you should rat this guy out because this is a little sketchy. Why is he trying so hard to get you not to say his name? Like, I don't trust this guy, man. And so it really puts the song in a different light. And every time I listen to this version, I'm like, wait a minute, man. Jerry's playing a little too hard right here to be like have her not say his name. Excellent, excellent version of Sugary. Then we get a weather report suite that is phenomenal. It has a jam in it towards the end of it when, like, you've done the songs and you're going off into that just crazy sort of post vocals jam, when Jerry is just like pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it almost reaches this point where things like fall apart and nothing happens, but it almost reaches a point like where you're on one of those like amusement park rides where like you like swing up and you reach a point where like you're just kind of in air and like the only thing that's going to bring you back down is gravity. And so there's that free fall moment. It really feels like Jerry and the band like go so high at one point. They're like, whoa, where are we? And it doesn't really like fall apart as much as they like scramble to like find solid footing again as they fall back down towards like more recognizable Let It Grow jam territory. And it is just an exhilarating moment. And like, it is just one of the best Let It Grows weather report suites from this era. A must hear. I think that's maybe the end of the first set, that weather report suite, or maybe the beginning of the second. But then we get a He's Gone. That goes into a truckin', that goes into a truckin'. Then we also get a Spanish jam eventually. But before that, we get a Nobody's Fault But Mine that is like a really good, it's a solid, confident, well-performed Nobody's Fault But Mine. That goes into the other one. It's not the longest other one, a good healthy 9 minutes, a solid other one. But once they're done with that and they go off into the jam territory, that goes into a Spanish jam and that goes into a War Frat. And that is just, that bonus disc, if they had only released that bonus disc, I would probably rank this higher. But since you also get the full July 31st show, this is definitely my favorite release of the two. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what's coming next. I haven't started listening to number 3 yet. I know what it is, but I haven't revisited it in a while. So I don't know how good it is. This one's going to be hard to beat. And I debated whether to include bonus discs in these rankings, but this isn't the only one that has bonus material. And so I thought, yeah, there's a bonus disc. If you ordered this release, you got a bonus disc, so it counts. So there's like something in the air, man. I'm about to sneeze. But anyways, yeah. So at this point, those are the rankings. This one, number 1, for sure. Excellent release. I highly recommend it if you can track it down. It might stay at number 1 for a while. But yeah, that's it. Highly recommend this, man. Again, the dates of the first show right there. And then that bonus disc is the 729. It's material from 729. These were things that were common, were floating out there in taper circles. So you can I don't think the 29th show was. Or maybe I didn't have the 29th show. I had the 31st show. But anyways, I don't remember. Anyways, but that's it. Yeah, Dave's Picks. Number 2, a really, really, really good show. Material, release, whatever. You get it. Comment, all that stuff. I'm trying to hold back a sneeze, man. This is not cool. But comment, subscribe, like, share. Let me know what you think about this, if you've heard it, all that stuff. You know how it works, people. Now I'm going to go turn this off, and I'm going to try to sneeze and get this out of my system. Peace, y'all. Talk to you later.